1,000 litres of fuel. We did have 2 on here as you'll see in the picture, but 1 was for my Uncle Mike, so we dropped that one off. And then all we've done is we've got a cap that goes onto here, screw it on, and we'll fill up a drum for the generator. We'll take up there afterwards, and then we'll fill up the tank for the jet burner. But she runs it at a pretty good speed. Don't know if you can see it. Good enough. The truck's done pretty good. It's pretty slippy and mucky in places, but not too considerably too bad. Here's the cesspit tank that we haven't finished yet. Come back to this website, but we've got to pump that out because it's still got water in there, and patch a hole up. And then we just got to get some soil and packing around all these areas, tidy all these areas up. And then we just got to bury the pipeline right down through and be sorted. So that's the plan. Head down to the ditch basically. That's the plan anyway. So here we go. So we fixed the 7610 front end, front thingy bob. 5 blast it, put it back on. We have got to work out why it's twisted and bent. We've got knocked, so hopefully we'll be able to straighten it pretty straightforward. But that's minor detail. We've also got the cab up, just checking a few things, plus the cab. If anyone has got a complete roof set up, there's a fucking bird in my tractor. Excuse the French. Oi! Little blighters. Right, if anyone has got a complete roof setup for a Q cab, get me in touch, or a complete cab. I'd like to change the whole cab on it. I'd like a complete cab if possible, so I can just bolt on and bolt off, but we'll see what options we got. Anyway, getting on to the digger, ordered a new sight gauge. I'm not sure if that's the right way up or the wrong way down. All I know is that it needs to be in the middle. So my theory was that if it was at the red mark, it can be below the 2 red marks. But if it gets below the bottom red mark, then it's too low. Was my theory. But other than that, I really couldn't. I don't know. Got the throttle system all connected. It works nicely. We've got that rigged up to here. I've got to make a bracket up for this. Not quite sure how I'm doing this yet, because obviously you'd have something normally bolts onto here and I don't. So I'm thinking I might have to make a bracket to sort of bolt onto this bit here, little angle bracket that come along with a little hole in it to where we need it for this to be connected into. I am thinking about doubling the spring up because it's quite a lot of strain just for this one spring, but we'll see. And the exhaust is done. So this piece here was originally the piece that used to stick out through the top of the bonnet, and this comes along. Now I was wanting to sort of aim for this hole down there where it would normally come out, but the problem I got is I only could find 1 elbow, and I don't have time to order some and wait 3 months for them to turn up. So I decided this was the best option, and what I'm going to do is we will cut a slit into the bonnet where it goes, and this will get cut neat in line roughly with the bonnet, maybe poke out a little bit, and then we'll make a little flap sort of thing, because it will work out that it will come out about here. So what we'll do is we'll then put a little flap thing on here, like a bigger piece of pipe, so it sort of overhangs like this, and then when the bonnet shuts down, it shuts over it, and then it points the fumes down. When you lift the bonnet up, it just stays fixed to the bonnet. That's my theory, but I can't carry on with that until I get the bonnet on. Fuel tank, we've got to clean out the fuel tank because there's an R-clip in there for some strange reason, and then we just got to bolt it on. Sadly, I can only find 3 of the bolts that I need. So no, I've now lost another one. Is that it there? That's it there. It only had 3 in it when we pulled it apart, and so I'm going to take one into town, and maybe on the off chance maybe get one. If not, I'm not worried. I'll just put another bolt through it and with a nut on the back. Next job is to, right, so we've got a few higgly-piggly problems that we've got to solve. We've got fittings for fuel filter and mounting fuel filter. Now, because I don't have a fuel tap on this setup, because this filter would have a fuel tap on it, so you could turn the fuel off, change your filter, and turn it back on again. That doesn't have it. So what I'm thinking of doing is going to our local shop. Obviously it's in here, out at the top. Getting a couple of hydraulic banjo bolts and getting a little tap to go on there. And then this will get bolted on here for 1 bolt. Might not be enough, might have to make a plate up maybe to sit in there. I don't really have an idea yet, because we're not really sure where the air filter housings are going. I can't seem to find a reasonably priced filter for this. I can find bloody expensive filters for this, but there's no numbers on it or whatsoever. And the part number that's on the thing, they're like 200 and something odd dollars from the States and 90 odd quid from somewhere, I can't remember where. I think it was 90 odd pounds. But I couldn't find any in the UK at a cheap price to send down. So, still contemplating whether to put the Discovery box in, this box. Even though mounting it's not going to be as easy, but it would mean that I'd have to mount it sort of, let me sort of try and work this out, somewhere around this sort of line. And the problem I got is that I think it's going to catch the bonnet, so I'd have to put it on an angle. Or I could do it the opposite way around. Have it so that, let's move this out of the way for now. How did I set that even in there? Just like sat it in there and it works out really good. I could set it so it sat in there like this, and then had a pipe come up and into there. I haven't fully decided. In fact, to be truthfully honest with you, I don't know which is going to be the best option. Either way, I think it's going to mean me cutting a metal plate, bolting on top of these 4 bolts here, and mounting it on there. But that is a job for another day. At the moment, we're going to now go and cut a bit of angle iron, cut this to fit onto here, then drill out these 2 holes here, and then have it so this bolts onto those 2 bolts, which in turn actually fix the radiator in place. And then that will be our engine coolant thing sorted. Fuel line is pretty straightforward. So we have this here is your return, can go straight to the tank. So we're going to take it straight off there, go straight along here. We're going to probably put some clamps on here and have it so it goes straight into the top of the tank. No fiff-faffling around. This here is, obviously you'll have your tank pipe on the bottom here. It will come up, go into your tank, and then you'll have this one that will go into your filter housing. And then it then feeds your injector pump. None of these fuel lines are going to get used that's on here, because I think they're going to work out all too short. But that's the way it is. I did shorten the dipstick. I don't know if I've done a video on that. Well, it is what it is really, it's a dipstick. You know, if you're a dipstick, you must be rich because you're in oil. So, yeah, we haven't filled it up with hydraulic oil yet. This is a filter off a Ford 600 tractor, you know, the ones that's just behind the seat, the back end filter. They fit these, so I'm going to order a few more of these. This one was quite expensive because I ordered it off eBay, and it come from, I think it's a Sparex part number. But I decided to go a little bit more expensive instead of the Agriline ones, being that this is for hydraulic and you really don't want to muck this up. This seems to be in all good, so hopefully it will function well. The one thing we have got to do is we've got to try and work out how to clamp our battery in so that it doesn't dance around. because at the moment that is a bit of a problem. But yeah, we're gonna have to clean all that out, sort it all out. I would also like to get the horn working, that horn button there working, so that when we have got loading machines up, you've got a horn to alert people. Sometimes it would be handy instead of just having to stick your thumbs up and shout and squeal. We're still going to change all the coolant and oil and everything in here. Fuel filters will have to be changed because obviously we're using different fuel filters, but we'll just play it by ear and see how we get on. But other than that, it seems to be making slow progress. The most difficult one that I thought was going to be was the exhaust, and that turned out not to be too bad. Whether it works is a completely different kettle of fish. It was very hard to weld, because even though this is quite thick, the actual pipe that I used is only like a mil thick. This stuff here, or about 2 mil thick. And I only have an arc welder. I haven't really ventured into the MIG welding side of things yet. I've got a MIG welder. I did try it once and I needed just a lot of practice. So it was more of a stitch weld run around. A bit rough around there. But to be truthfully honest with you, providing it's functional, I'm not really too worried. I've got a lot of work to do before we get the road built in this season, and this is just got to be done. So obviously we've clamped in all the hydraulic lines. They're all clamped in along the back there. I'm not putting the flooring in yet, because I'm hoping once I get her running to take her outside and give everything in here a good clean and a grease up and an oil up and make sure everything's clean and good, because it's just absolutely filthy in there. And I'm hoping to do around the engine bay at the same time. Tracks, we've still got to weld that bit in there, bring it up back to where it needs to be. We then have one track which has got a slight low spot in the track assembly, I think, which ends up hitting the roller, and maybe that's why it's coming off. We really don't know why this track keeps wanting to fall off. I do know that the sprockets are starting to wear a little. They've got starting to get that little angled sort of thing to them. I was contemplating on taking a sprocket off and spinning it around, thinking that might make a difference, but I generally don't think it will make a difference. So like put that one on that side and what's forth. She needs a really good clean, because when she broke we were digging in clay, blue clay to be precise. So yeah, just the track was mainly the thing. Like, she ran all good mainly after that. There's a few things we wanted to tidy up on it, like the exhaust. You always had to make sure you covered the exhaust up, because if not, water would get into it. The air filter system, it gets dusty. I blow it out with a compressor, but because I can't find one, and I'm not spending a fortune on an air filter, being that this lives in a dusty environment, you're changing them constantly. So I decided that next best thing was to go and look for something else. So just got to work out what we're going to do. I was thinking of a Lister generator one, wondering if I couldn't rig up a Lister generator one up in here and then have it thing, you know, you get those inlet filters, whatever you call them, but I can't seem to find one at the moment, but I haven't given up looking. I'm going to have a look at some of the old machinery and see what we come up with. But yeah, got it, the exhaust slightly pointing downwards, just in case rain does decide to go in there, you know. Very paranoid about water entering your engine through your exhaust. Downside to the Ford tractors. But yeah, we'll probably cut and grind this off, tidy this up a bit. Fuel tank's going to go in here. What we're going to do is we're eventually going to blank off these two holes here, and then my plan is, hopefully, is to have it so that very little water can get into it. But because obviously it leaks water between where the bonnet obviously shuts and comes onto here, we're going to put rubber, like a door seal, hopefully something along here, so that when it shuts against it and hopefully diverts the water either way from the radiator and the exhaust, because that's getting a bit rusty there. And then this one here is where your filler cap is. We're basically going to weld a box onto it with a lid, so you can lift the lid up, fill her up, lift the lid back down again, and Bob's your uncle. That's the plan. Also going to sort out the door. So normally you would be able to pin your door back and shut it. This one you can't because it's in a bit more of a dire straits. So we're going to sort that out. We've got to sort out all the catch system and everything on it, because the door's in a bit of a bad state. So we're going to hopefully sort that out and get that sorted as well. And then if we have to, we will see if we can get some glass cut. I'm not sure if there's really many people down here that can cut that sort of glass. This bit here, I haven't really decided what we're doing with this bit yet, because I'm not sure why that was all done the way it was. So we're leaving all that until we decide what we're doing with the rams and bushes and things on that end. At the moment it's functional, so yeah, we just got air filter to do, fuel filter to do, fuel tank to put in, fuel lines to run, and tracks to sort out. I have got to weld a piece of pipe onto the roller, this piece here actually to be precise. So that piece there is to go on the other roller on the other side, if it works, hopefully. But we'll disconnect that side once we get this side good and proper, and go from there. Sorry it's not much of a video, but it is what it is, and I'm sort of rushing against time at the moment, so just having to make do with what I can. And there's been a lot of thinking and all that going into this because we're sort of modifying it, so yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge. It's taken me a long time, just a few hours to decide how to do the exhaust and the best way to go about it, looking for bits, but we're getting there. So there you go, big difference hopefully. So we've got fuel filter mounted onto a bracket here. It's held in by one bolt there, two here, but it's fine, it's not taking any load. Air filter assembly, and then we've got, the only thing we're going to have to do is we're going to need to put a tap to isolate it from here. So this fuel line here would come around into here. I'm going to try and see if I can get a tap or something, that thread, or even an inline tap. I'm not really too sure, but it's going to need something or other, because yeah, we can't have that like that. It just wouldn't be good. And what else was it? Oh, fuel tank's in. I just got to put a bolt in there. We'll get one. We've got the can thing mounted. I don't know what you want to call it. Expansion vessel, I think that's what they call them. Some more fuel line here just in case I need to replace any. I'm quite impressed with how the actual air filter assembly's gone on, because I can actually remove it by just bending that pipe a bit. I can actually take it out and change it, so I don't have to actually unbolt the whole thing all the time. And I managed to use the original hose. The only thing I've got left to do is make up a bracket for the throttle assembly, which I'm looking at doing for a spring. And yeah, other than that, she's about ready to go. I just got to get some things to connect fuel lines to, really, and we're sorted. So it's all happening. Look down the pipe. It is an old existing exhaust pipe that we used for our generator, but yeah, if anyone knows what model digger this is, would be much appreciated. It's a G something, I think is what they refer to them as, but it would help me get new tracks for it then, because I would really like to do her up. She's a nice digger, and that engine's only done, I think, 200 something odd hours. So yeah, but anyway, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. And on another note, we got the bit fixed for a county that we bent doing the caravan. It's a temporarily fix. I literally chopped off the two ends that was bent and just welded them into that end there, and it's an old top link. It'll do the job hopefully, so we'll catch you later.